morning or evening, depending on which way or when you're watching this. But I'm excited you're here. I'm excited you're watching this. We are starting lesson 5 of the thread, where we are talking about continuing God's covenant in the creation of His people. And so far, God has created everything in existence, and He created humanity, created mankind through Adam and Eve. They sinned, sin entered the world, they were kicked out of the garden. God told them to go and populate the earth. They did so, but the earth was covered with violence, covered in sin, and so God looked down and was displeased with it and destroyed it. He saved Noah, He saved his sons and their wives and a whole bunch of animals in an ark. Water subsided. Noah and his sons get out. Then 9 generations later, Abram is born and remains childless for years. Years and years, almost like 99 years. And then he has a son. And in all of this, God has made him a covenant. And God has, in this covenant and in all of these promises, remember, a covenant is a bond between two parties, God and man. And so in this instance, God and Abram created this covenant that your children are going to be a multitude. Abram, God changes his name to Abraham, which means father of a multitude. You know, like the song, Father Abraham had many sons, I am one of them, and so are you. And so he creates this covenant with Abraham, through his son Isaac, that they are going to be his chosen people. He gives them a promised land. He tells them that your people are going to accompany this land. You are going to go and you are going to have it, and it is going to be yours. And so he goes through all of this. Abraham has a son. He has Isaac, and God's people is established. The creation of God's chosen people, of everyone, of all the people that are on the earth, He makes this covenant with Abraham. A promise of that his generations, his children, are going to be His people. And today we can look back and we know that that is Israel. And so this covenant that God made, He made one with Noah that he wasn't going to destroy the earth again. Then He made one with Abram. Now, we talked about covenants last week, of how Jesus has made a covenant with us and of how it hinges on us. So just like then, with Jesus making that covenant, God made one with Abram about His people, of how they're going to be just completely numerous, more than the stars that are in the sky. And we read this in Galatians chapter 3, verse 25. But now that faith has come, we are no longer under a guardian. For in Christ Jesus you are the all sons of God through faith. For as many of you as were baptized into Christ have put on Christ. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither slave nor free. There is no male and female. For you are all one in Christ Jesus. And if you are Christ, then you are Abraham's offspring, heirs according to promise. So right off the bat, right here in Galatians, we see in this study of the thread of what is happening is that God has created a people. He has established a people. He has set them apart different from everyone else. And He says, this is my people. And time progresses, and we know that group of people to be Israel. We know that group of people to be Jewish. Then when we get to New Testament times, because of Jesus Christ, through His death, His burial, His resurrection, you and I are made in His image. And through faith, we are now adopted into God's family. That's why we are able to say that anyone that is a part of Christ, that we are able to say that you are our brother and sister in Christ. It's because we all belong to one family, and that is God's family. We have been adopted in. And I think it's wonderful that God did all of this and wrote it down in the Bible so all of us could see it and learn from it of how God has created a way for us to be a part of His family. And it is because of faith in Jesus Christ that we are able to do so. So the question that I have and study for you this week is that I pray that you are a member of God's family, that you have been adopted in. If you don't know or you're unsure, please let me know. We will discuss it. We'll look at your birth certificate and see where you are, where your allegiance is, what family you belong to. If it's not the family of Jesus Christ, it's wrong. It doesn't lead to promises. It doesn't lead to heaven. I love you. I thank you so much for watching. I know it was short this week. The reason it was so short is because I was going to have to read Genesis chapter 12 and 15 and 21 to really get the story of Abraham. But really, we just needed to understand that God created a covenant with Abram, changed his name to Abraham. He had a son, Isaac, and through Isaac, Israel was born. I love you all. See you next time. Bye-bye.